Welcome, everyone. We're now live, so if you don't care to be live, you can turn off your camera. So we'll start. I have to rearrange myself a little bit. Excuse me. There we go. So we can start with some meditation. So if people could get themselves in a comfortable position that you could maintain for about a half an hour. Just getting in touch with the body in the present moment. You can sense the body, the weight of the body. Sensing the contact of the body against what's supporting it. Just getting a sense of stability and stillness. What is it like just to be here, wherever you are, that here, that present moment. Present location. Just letting go of the day's activities. Just welcoming this moment. And sensing again the body, the contact of the body against whatever's supporting it. You might sense the touch of the cloth, the clothing against the skin. The temperature of the air, the touch of the air against the skin. And then sensing the feet, whatever the feet are in contact with, the floor, cushion, maybe on your leg somewhere. Sensing the soles of the feet. And the toes. And the tops of the feet. And gradually bringing the awareness up the ankles. Giving your kind attention to the legs. And sense the muscles and inviting any tension just to let go of the tension, relax. And the buttocks. Again, feeling the weight of the body. And the hips. And abdomen. And feeling the expanding and contracting of the abdomen. With the breath. It's the natural rhythm of the breath. Even the sides of the body expanding and contracting. And the chest. Just at its own rate, the flow of the breath expanding and contracting the torso. Up to the shoulders. Allowing the shoulders to be at ease. And allowing the awareness to drift downwards over the arms. All the way down to the hands. Really inviting those hands to be at rest, at ease. Feel the touch of the arms and the hands against the body. Bringing the awareness upwards again. The shoulders. And the neck. And over the back of the head. Can you sense the back of your head? The sides of the head. And ears. And all the way up to the top of the head, feeling all over the top of the head. And downwards over the forehead. Inviting the forehead to be at ease. Around the eyes. And jaws. And the upper and lower teeth should be lightly touching one another. The tongue at rest. And the lips slightly touching one another. And you might be sensing the passing of the air through the nostrils. And allowing the awareness to drift downwards again. You might be sensing the expanding and contracting of the chest, the abdomen. If you care to shift your attention to the cycle of the breath, this is a good time. Or if you care to, you can continue scanning the body in this way, all the way down to the feet and then back up again. Either sensing the whole of the breathing or settling in one spot. And if you notice the mind bringing up thoughts, just give them your kind attention and allow them to pass, bringing the attention back to the body, the breath, with utmost kindness. And we'll continue in silence for another 16 minutes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhutam dhammam sangham namasami. So welcome again, everyone. As you may or may not know, here at the monastery and at the hermitage, we're starting our winter retreat period. And this will be my last talk for a little while. And we have here, I'm going to turn the camera this way. We have here Aya Brahmawara, who has just come out of quarantine. So we're very happy to have her here. We're really blessed that she'll be taking over the teaching. So I'm going to move it back again. And then I'm going to invite her to make some comments or say a few things related to what I wish to share tonight. I have been talking about the 7 factors of awakening and also the hindrances a little bit, kind of leading up to this retreat period. And I thought I would speak more about the hindrances. Ayatollah and actually the community had decided that we would use the 4 establishments of mindfulness for our theme for the retreat. But I realized that there is a connection between the hindrances, working with the hindrances, understanding the hindrances, overcoming the hindrances, and the satipatthana. So I've been doing a little bit of research and looking at different suttas, and I'm not sure exactly how it'll all come together, but there is, in preparation for the satipatthana, for working with the 4 foundations of mindfulness, we really do need to prepare the mind. And in training a monk, the Lord Buddha would in a number of suttas start them out with the sila, with the patimokkha, the monastic code. But all of us, in order for our practice to go well, should be keeping whatever sila is appropriate to our lifestyle. So most people hopefully are keeping 5 precepts. So this is one of the really essential things we should be working with, is keeping our sila pure. And then it's a gradual path. So the next thing on the path that the Buddha would teach a new monk would be guarding the sense gates, or protecting the mind from unwholesome mental states arising when in contact with the senses. The mind being aware of sights, sounds, odors, and so on, taste, touch, so that the mind doesn't get overexcited, either in aversion or attraction. So this is protecting the mind. So that would be the next thing that the Lord Buddha or a teacher would teach a monastic, but anyone, this will benefit from this. And then moderation in eating and sleep. And then the next would be situational awareness, sati sampajanya. This is Bhante Sujato uses that term, situational awareness, or it's clear comprehension is another way it's translated. So being aware in all activities as we're doing things, clearly knowing what we're doing as we're doing it. And at that point, someone would go into seclusion. Once they've gotten all that training, then they go into seclusion. So, and then in the suttas, a number of suttas, it's talks about overcoming the hindrances. So this is the next step. So we don't even start with the deeper meditation or the satipatthana until we've really done some preliminary work. And so it might sound, I don't know if that sounds complicated, but really we're preparing our minds before we actually get onto the cushion. But once we get on the cushion, then we have what's called the hindrances that come up. And I think all of us are familiar with that. And I wanted to share this, the similes that appear in one of the suttas, which helps us so we can identify these, how these hindrances are affecting us. And there's this one sutta that this Brahmin, let me get his name. It's okay. I'll tell you the reference and the name of the sutta here. So this is it's in the Connected Discourses, and it's see if I can put it in the chat. Is this the chat here? No, that's not it. Which one's the chat?
Oh.
This is
I'm not sure.
oh, it's under more. It's under more. There it is.
Chat, yeah.
Chat,
yeah.
okay. So I put the chat box.
Yep.
And then I am going to put in the reference to the sutta.
4655.
So, okay.
46.
Or 46.
55.
55. So this is the Sangarawa Sutta. And there's a Brahmin, Sangarawa, and he comes to Lord Buddha and he asks the Lord Buddha, why is it that I forget these hymns that I've memorized, I've practiced over and over again, and sometimes I can't remember them. And then, let alone sometimes the ones that I haven't even practiced well, but the ones, he's kind of like dismayed that sometimes he forgets the ones that he should know well. And then the Lord Buddha starts in well, if your mind is overcome or mired by sensual desire, then you won't know your own good or the good for others or for both, let alone remembering the hymns that you should know. And so sensual desire, he said, suppose you had a reflecting bowl. They used to use in the time of the Buddha a bowl of water, and you could see your reflection in the bowl of water, or a reflecting pond. So suppose you had a bowl of water and then someone added some kind of dye. They had different kinds of dyes that were listed, lac and turmeric and things like that, but they put dye in the water, so the water was colored. Would you be able to see your reflection well? And then, of course, the Brahman says no. And why is that? Because of the color in the dye. It's you can't really see yourself clearly. You can't know yourself clearly. I think of this as like wearing rose-colored glasses. Everything is like kind of colored in a particular way. So if with sense desire, we're seeing things kind of not as they actually are, and we're just maybe our attention just goes to what's appealing to us, and we're obsessed with what's appealing. So then that's distracting us, and we don't see things clearly. We don't know things clearly. So this is the simile for sense desire, and you might see in your mind it's distorted. It's you're obsessing on what's appealing to you, and I could just think of if you want something like some food or something that's really tasty, you just think about the like cake or something like that. All you'll be thinking about is the taste of the cake, but you won't think about what harm might come from eating the cake if it's not appropriate. So, or a person you might be attracted to, and all you're thinking about is their appealing aspects, and then you won't. You're just obsessed, and you're distracted. You're distracted from what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about. So in your meditation, just the appealing aspects of something you desire will be obsessing your mind. So this is really distorting your mind at that point. But the Lord Buddha is talking to this Brahman. He says that one will not know what is good for oneself or for the other or for both. So this is in relationship with people too. So the second hindrance, the first hindrance is sensual desire. And the second hindrance is ill will or anger. And that's a bowl of water that's heated and then it's boiling. So can you see, if you have a bowl of boiling water, could you see your reflection well in that bowl of water? Of course not. So this is a good metaphor too for the state of mind. You know, it's disturbed, it's hot, it's aggravated. So so you're focusing on negativity, what's unappealing to you, what's irritating to you. And so the mind is very agitated. So of course you can't think of the good for yourself, the good for another, or for both, let alone remembering what's important. Like the hymns for the Brahman is very important. So we'll forget our object of meditation, or throughout the day. That's the thing with the hindrances too. They affect us through the day as well as on our cushion. So if we notice our mind agitated with anger or hatred, how disturbing it is. And the third is dullness and drowsiness. And sometimes that's called sloth and torpor. Sometimes I think of it as sloth and torture, because if you're on the cushion and you're falling asleep, sometimes it just really feels like torture to me. And the metaphor for that one is a bowl, or the simile is a bowl of water that has algae and water plants growing on the surface. So of course, you can't see anything. It's not even like it's distorted. It's like it's totally obscured if you've got water with algae growing on the surface of it. So that's the state of your mind affected by drowsiness and dullness. So if the mind is overcome by that, then you can't see or know for yourself what's good for yourself, good for another, or for both. And then the fourth is restlessness and remorse. Sometimes it's restlessness and anxiety. I think that's another translation of that. But and that's water that's being whipped by the wind. So it's disturbed, it's agitated. So that's the state of mind, a very agitated state of mind. So of course you can't see your reflection well in a bowl of water with the wind whipping it up, stirring it up. So this is a lack of clarity that comes from restlessness and remorse. And the last one is doubt or uncertainty. And this is turbid water, water that's muddy, murky. And not only is it muddy and murky, but the bowl has been placed in the dark. So there's not even a reflection of water, of sunlight or any kind of light reflecting off this bowl of water. So so you can't see yourself clearly at all. You can't. It's this doubt is just really obscuring things completely. Lacking clarity, lacking brightness. So then the Buddha further says there are times when the mind is free from these hindrances. So this is like a bowl of water that's clear, it's pure water, and it's still, and it's placed in the sunlight. And so you can see yourself clearly. And when your mind is free from the hindrances, then you'll know the good for yourself, the good for others, and for both. And then you'll remember what's important. Also, you'll be staying with your object of meditation. In the case of this Brahmin, he'll remember the hymns that are important to him, the ones that are well practiced, and even the ones that he's just beginning to learn, the ones that aren't so well practiced. This purity of mind and stillness of mind and quietude of mind is helpful for not only our benefit, but also for the knowledge, the being able to see things as they actually are with clarity. So that's the simile I wanted to share, because I wanted to speak about the hindrances a little bit and somehow bring those similes in, because I think they're really good to help us remember the hindrances and recognize them as they come up, and see the effect on the mind. So as I was saying, that there's the gradual training, starting with sila, guarding the sense gates, moderation of eating, moderation of sleep, situational awareness. And then we go in seclusion after we've done some of this practice. So that may be just we go into our room, and we go in like a quiet place, and we've made a decision, a determination to sit for a while. And then then these hindrances start arising in our minds, because even though we're working throughout the day trying to develop mindfulness in our activities, trying to keep our sila well, there's still stuff going on in our lives. So so what do we do when these hindrances arise? So bringing awareness to them, seeing how the mind is affected by them, and then bringing up their antidotes. Sometimes if we're just seeing them arise, the very flickering of sense desire, and being aware of that, sometimes that just helps to dispel them. But if there's something that's persistent, we may, and it's really agitating the mind, looking at the mind, seeing how the mind is being affected, seeing that I also I bring awareness to my body and see the effect of some of the unwholesome states on my body. And then usually it's a lot of tension. There's the hindrances that bring a lot of tension are like sense desire, anger, of course, restlessness and remorse, and even doubt. But doubt can also bring sluggishness to the body. It can, and then a person can be wavering between this kind of sluggishness, dullness, and restlessness. They can be, so just bringing awareness to how the body is being affected. And just inviting, letting go. If we can let go, bringing our awareness back to our object of meditation. So if we're using the breath or the body, then we're hopefully that is able to dispel that hindrance. For sense desire, you think about the disadvantage of what you're or the unpleasant aspect of what you're desiring, and sometimes that's helpful without getting really aversive, but just seeing the disadvantage, and how this part of the disadvantage is how it's affecting our minds, bringing agitation to the mind. And for ill will, we can bring up thoughts of loving kindness to ourselves and to whatever we're feeling agitated towards. And dullness and drowsiness, then there's a number of things we can do. Open up our eyes, stand up. Just seeing how we're breathing too. We might change the way we're breathing a little bit, taking a few deep breaths. And then restlessness and remorse. Just bringing calmness to the body. Could be scanning the body, allowing the body to relax. Or we can change our subject of meditation. I always like metta bhavana. It's always helpful to do metta phrases. And then for doubt, we can just doubt is sometimes really difficult to dispel. It depends on what the nature of what we're doubting, how we're doubting. And there's no quick answer to things just sitting on our cushion. So we might want to discuss what we're having doubt about with another person, or bring up Buddha Nusati, contemplating the qualities of the Buddha. So these are just some suggestions. So if we observe the hindrances arising in our mind, then we can use these antidotes, or just the observance of the arising of it. I think that's one of the things that's most helpful, is that we catch these unwholesome states before they really start festering and are difficult to let go of. Then that's the best if we can do that. And it is a gradual process. I had actually done a lot of looking at the Pali and thinking about speaking tonight. And I've been looking at various suttas, and there's this one sutta, it's in the Majjhima Nikaya, and and it's called The Grade of the Tamed, is how, did I put this one? Let's see, to everyone. Then I put enter. There's that one. This is the simile of the water bowls. It's not going to be called that. It's the this is, I'll just type the title of it in as well. This one. Oops. Sangarawa Sutta. And that's the one that's 46.55. There's that one. And then the one I want to speak about a little bit is in the Majjhima Nikaya 125. And that's Bhikkhu Bodhi calls it Grade of the Tame. This is if you go into, whoops, there, and then I enter it. There it is. No. What did I just do? Close that. Enter.
Yeah.
Enter. Here we go.
What's up? Maybe click on that, everyone.
To everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. To everyone. And enter. There we go. There we go. So Grade of the Tamed. That's a Majjhima Nikaya 125. And this is an interesting sutta because it goes through the gradual path that I just outlined. And then it talks, instead of going from abandoning the hindrances, usually they go from the teaching goes to developing the 4 jhanas, the deeper states of meditation, the absorptions. But in this is a pretty unique in that it talks about from abandoning the hindrances, it goes to the 4 foundations of mindfulness, and then it goes to the jhanas. So we're going to be talking during this winter retreat about the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So I just thought, wow, this is this is a good connection between what we were talking about before and how we're going to be moving forward into the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And in the when they start talking about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the Lord Buddha starts describing each foundation, and the first one is mindfulness of the body. And so it's kaya nupasi viharati atapi sampajano satima. So it's contemplating the body as a body or in a body, observing an aspect of the body. This is Bhante Sujato's translation, to observe an aspect of the body. And then keen, aware, mindful, ardent, fully aware. And then there's a vinaya loke abhijja domanasa, and that's rid of desire and aversion for the world, or after removing avarice and sorrow is another translation for that. But this is also tying in the hindrances, because some in the commentaries they say this abhijja domanasa, this sorrow and grief for the world, or covetousness and grief for the world is how Bhante Bodhi translates it, or a desire and aversion, or avarice and sorrow, whatever. The domanasa has something to do with sorrow or grief or aversion, and the abhijja is having to do with desire or covetousness. So these things, they say this is actually referring to the 5 hindrances. So having rid yourself of the 5 hindrances, then you start this process. So it's actually in the Satipatthana too, to rid ourselves of the 5 hindrances. But another thing that I noticed in my exploration is that there's this Nivarana Sutta, and that's a sutta on the 5 hindrances, and it's in the numerical discourse. And what it says is, in order to give up the 5 hindrances, you should develop the 4 satipatthanas. So in order to start your practice of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, you work on abandoning the hindrances. In order to abandon the hindrances, you develop the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I think my idea on this is that it is a gradual path. So we have these really coarse hindrances that are appearing, and we're starting out also with our sila, we are conduct, our ethical conduct, and guarding the sense gates, and moderation in eating and sleeping. So we're working with hindrances there, actually. We're seeing them, we're trying to reduce them. That means, and also the sati sampajanya, we're developing both the right effort and mindfulness with these practices. So we start out with a coarser, more obstructive aspects of the hindrances. And then when we get to a point where we're sitting on a cushion, then we're working on a deeper level of abandoning the hindrances, but also the Satipatthana itself is working at eliminating the hindrances at a deeper and deeper level. So it works, it's working in both directions. The development of the Satipatthana is eliminating the hindrances, and the eliminating the hindrances is aiding us in being able to develop the four foundations of mindfulness. So that was an interesting discussion that I have with myself. And I thought I would share with you. So rid of aversion. So it sounds like you're already gotten rid of it, but I think we've gotten rid of the coarser. We have to have the coarser defilements at least in abeyance. And maybe that's another aspect of it, is that they're in abeyance, but they're subtle and still can rise up. So really the mind is getting more and more refined as our practice goes along. And it's like that simile, I think I've mentioned it last week, of the goldsmith. And first the gold cleaner starts out with the gold, the really rough gold ore, and they're picking out rocks and washing in the gold, I guess a trough. They had this big trough that they would pour off the dirt, dirty water, and keep washing and washing and washing until the gold gets to a certain state where you can start smelting it. You put it in a crucible, and then you start burning off the dross. So it's just getting more and more refined. But so we have to be patient with ourselves and start where we are, and not expect a lot of ourselves, more than we're able to not get beyond quickly where we are in the present. So this was let's see if I can see anything else in my notes that was standing out. Yeah, there's that Vinaya Loke Abhijan Domanasam. So this is one of the words. Vinaya is when I clicked on the meaning of the word, it said fit to be trained, but I think it was because it's a different form of the word. It's a past tense, a past of the word vinati, and that means to lead, train, or remove. So removing is the term that they were using, but it's interesting. There's also this idea of training. So training oneself, removing the hindrances, taming oneself, taming our mind, training our mind. I think there's some of that in there, that we're in this process to train ourselves, to tame ourselves. And this in the Dhammadharini, the Great of the Tamed, this word vinati appears actually, and it's training animals, training a well-trained horse or a well-trained elephant compared to untrained elephant or an untrained horse. If the horse doesn't get any training, they're not going to behave like a well-trained horse. This is what the Lord Buddha was asking. If you have a pair of horses that weren't trained and another pair of horses that were trained, well trained, is their behavior going to be the same? No. So this is about training or taming ourselves. and we're this is a process that takes time. And in the Dhammadharini Sutta, it actually talks about training an elephant, taking a wild elephant and then taming it. And then the elephant, well, it's a battle elephant, which I don't know, maybe you wouldn't like that. Silly, but what are we battling anyway? We're battling Mara, maybe is what we're fighting against, is unwholesome qualities. So so this has kind of been my exploration for the past few days, is looking at these suttas and seeing how these things interconnect. And how it's a gradual path. So it's a path of abandoning this, what's unwholesome and developing the wholesome. So we have to work at it in two directions. And the bringing up the wholesome, developing the wholesome will help us abandon the unwholesome. And abandoning the wholesome will give us the opportunity to bring up what's wholesome. So I'd like to offer this for your reflection, and I'd like to invite Venerable Brahmawara to say a few words.
Annamayam Dhammakata Sadhu Garam Dharamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Aya.
Well, that's sort of exactly what I was inviting you to say, but thank you. So I'm turning the camera in your direction, putting you on the hot seat now.
Thank you so much for your really wonderful talk. And I feel like it's a really timely talk for us all because of the time that we're entering into the retreat mode. And so this is just so helpful. And the theme that we have of the four Satipatthanas is just such a beautiful introduction to help us to begin to explore this incredible sutta. And yeah, I really love those similes of the hindrances and to consider the hindrances, because we're bound to have the experience of 1, 2, or 3, or multiple experiences of hindrances arising in our meditation practice. And it can be quite disheartening. Sometimes we can feel, oh, I should be able to just start the retreat and start meditating and have the ability to focus and follow the practices. And then these difficulties can come in. And yeah, when we make a problem of that, then we're just adding to our suffering. So I just love that the Buddha gave us this way of appreciating any obstacle to meditation that comes into the mind. Okay, what is it? Can we figure out? Can we find out? Can we categorize it? And as soon as we start to examine the hindrances, then we're already overcoming them. So it's this quality of awareness. And so I think it's really important, yeah, for us to begin to any retreat with this in mind. These 5 hindrances are likely to arise, and this is not a problem. This is completely normal, and let me see how I can address them. So you touched on also the remedies and antidotes for these hindrances. So thank you very much. I don't really have more to say. I just feel that was very full and rich for us to begin the retreat with these considerations. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you so much. That's really beautiful. Yeah, just being aware and aware of what they're doing. That's why I like the similes, because you could see the state of mind as those bowls of water. You could see how the Lord Buddha is really describing what the effect on our minds, the quality of our minds are. So just that awareness, as you were saying, helps to dispel. Does anyone have any questions or comments, or anyone else in the room have a Dhammavara? Do you have? We have Brahmavara and Dhammavara here. See does anyone have a comment or question? Usually you have one hindrance arising that may be predominant at a time during your meditation, but other times you might have more than one. Brianna, did you have something to say?
No, sorry. I was just turning on the camera to be more engaged. But I really appreciate the joy that you brought to the hindrances, because it's not often that there's a lot of joy when you're speaking about these things. So I will just add that comment. I really appreciate that.
Oh. Yeah, I think a little bit of humor sometimes helps. Or I'm going to just put everybody so I can see if there's anyone that has a comment or a question a little bit more. Yeah, I take a lot of joy in looking at the suttas and reading the way the Buddha has described things. So is everyone doing okay? Not overcome or mired by the hindrances at this moment? Yeah, and if there's just kind of a little bit of a flickering and you see them arise and pass, and they're not actually a full-blown hindrance, but they become a hindrance if the mind becomes overwhelmed, obsessed. It says mired by them is one. Bhante Sujato has translated one of the words. I didn't go into that word in detail in my exploration, but anyway, anyone here have something to say? Everyone's pretty calm. I know in the evening people just sometimes just want to be quiet, so we could end if no one has any question or any further thing to say. So we'll just end with homage to the Triple Gem, and I'll turn towards the altar. Yeah. Do you want to come over and
Can I say a couple of words?
Oh, certainly.
Is it okay?
Certainly.
If you can turn that. Thank you so much. I'd just like to, while we're all here together, to really offer thanks to Ayasa Wijana, because she's been supporting us with the Dharma teachings so kindly and generously. And she's now going to be on retreat herself for a few weeks at least. And so I think we can take this opportunity to express our gratitude to her and also to wish Ayya Suwijana a very fruitful, peaceful, and insightful retreat time. And thank you also for doing the practice.
Oh, thank you.
Big
so much.
appreciation. So we can all pay respects to Ayya Suwijana at this point. Wherever you are, here in the room or at home, let's take this opportunity to pay respects with 3 bows. So, thank you, Ayya.
And thank you so much for your support and of our retreat and offering teaching. So, yeah, we're very delighted to have Venerable Brahma here again.
Thank you, Ayya.
She'll be taking over my post for a while. Yeah, we're both
Thank you.
supporting Ayya Sobhana, who's been long overdue for retreat time. So I just was really happy that it all worked out for us to support Ayya Sobhana, who's at the Hermitage with the conditions as they are. I think these kind of challenging conditions of weather and all actually sometimes they're really support, because we're facing reality, the world on the world's terms, not how we imagine or wanted it to. So that those challenges of weather and a little bit of hardship that, yeah, unfortunately they're experiencing there at the Hermitage, but it seems like they're doing well anyway, despite we've got a rugged crew out there right now. So, so I know I've been out there with the atmospheric rivers and all that, and it's actually kind of exciting. But anyway, wishing you all well. Good seeing you.
Ruwanti has a
What did you
question.
say?
No, Ruwanti has
Pardon?
her hand up. The participant.
Oh, Ruwanti.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a question?
Well, actually, not really a question. I was waiting till everyone is finished to express my gratitude to you for your dedication to bringing us the teaching over the last, many weeks, I think. Yeah, so thank you so much and wish you well and a really fruitful retreat time. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for your attendance. It's been good seeing all of you that are attending regularly, and maybe I'll see you at the other side of the retreat time. So everyone take care. Okay, so we'll turn towards the altar. If you have your own altar in your home, you can bow towards that, or you can bow towards the little virtual altar that you'll see on the screen here. Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagavat Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivate. Vakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami.
Thank you, Aya. I hope you have a good retreat.
Thank you too. Everyone take care.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aya.
You're welcome.